Is the president of the Philippines going to die? Alright, buckle up people. Our patient, BM, who just happens to be the president of the Philippines, no big deal, rolls into the ER looking like he just watched the season finale of his favorite show get cancelled. He's got that sharp, stabbing pain in his lower left belly. We call that left-sided appendicitis, which is a fancy way of saying his gut is staging an intervention. Now, let's talk about the cause. The Prez has been living the Western diet dream: processed stuff, refined carbs, and about as much fiber as a marble statue. Think of his colon as a trash compactor. If you don't give it any bulk, that lovely essential fiber, the waste turns into small, hard pebbles. To push those little rocks out, his colon has to squeeze harder than the rock bench pressing a pickup truck. This constant Herculean effort creates high pressure zones. And what happens when you overinflate a balloon? Poof! The inner lining of his gut starts to bulge out through the muscle layer like a weak spot on a worn-out tire, forming a bubble. We call those little out pockets diverticula. At this point, he just had diverticulosis. It's the silent majority of the gut. He didn't feel it, and frankly, millions of other folks over 60 have this bubbly colon. It's basically the colon's version of getting a few gray hairs, a totally normal but slightly annoying structural quirk of aging. In the ER, though, the pain in the patient's lower left abdomen is not a standalone diagnosis. It's a cryptic clue. We can't just assume it's the colon. Our first and crucial job is to eliminate the killers, a process we formerly call a differential diagnosis. This is where we become medical detectives, playing a high-stakes game of Clue, using labs, scans, and physical exams to methodically rule out immediate threats. Was it a searing kidney stone, renal colic, whose pain can mimic abdominal disaster? A quick look at the urinalysis confirms, no, the pipe is clear, no telltale blood or crystals. Was it a strangulated hernia in the groin, where a loop of bowel is trapped, dying, akin to a rope tightening on a vital artery? A thorough physical exam returns negative. The groin is soft and unremarkable. A high-grade bowel obstruction, the body's internal traffic jam where everything comes to a grinding halt? The patient is still passing gas, a key piece of evidence showing the intestinal highway was merely slow and congested, not completely closed. What about the most terrifying possibility? An abdominal aortic aneurysm, an AAA, the body's system shutdown pipe bomb ready to rupture a major artery. A rapid bedside ultrasound offers an immediate sigh of relief. Relax, it says, the aorta is stable and non-dilated. By systematically checking every deadly box, the investigative focus returns with near certainty to the sigmoid colon, the final frontier of the large intestine, where the inflammatory party is clearly getting out of hand. The whole cascade of events turned into diverticulitis the moment a tiny calcified, hardened piece of waste, like decoy, which sounds way fancier than tiny poop stool, got completely lodged in the narrow neck of one of those vulnerable pouches. It's essentially a plumbing disaster, like plugging the drain on a sink. The pouch, or diverticulum, couldn't clear itself, and the trillions of natural bacteria that reside in his gut said, "Sweet, open bar, we're setting up shop." They rapidly multiply, producing copious baths and inflammatory byproducts, causing the pressure inside the tiny pouch to spike dramatically. This internal pressure is insidious. The pouch wall gets stretched thinner than a reality TV plotline, leading to a critical loss of its blood supply, a process called ischemia. The weakened, oxygen-starved wall becomes compromised, and next thing you know, the aggressive bacteria punch through this structural breach. This leads to a full-blown, intense, and often localized infection and inflammation surrounding the colon wall. He was now feeling that classic, excruciating left-sided appendicitis for real, and his white blood cells, the body's internal armed forces, were scrambling through his bloodstream, the lab work screaming the emergency. Code red, breach in the hull, the parameter has been compromised. The official diagnosis is confirmed, and the treatment protocol shifts from investigation to aggressive infection management. In the high-stakes world of gut mechanics, this is a physics problem. The sigmoid colon is the narrowest point, meaning the pressure is naturally highest there. It's where most pouches form, and inevitably, where they're most likely to try for a dramatic exit. And the stress of running a whole nation? Chronic stress is like pouring molasses into the digestion gears. It slows things down and tells the immune system to take a coffee break. Boom, that little bacterial hiccup turned into a localized dumpster fire. The public was panicking, but we put the press on NPO status. That's nil per os, or absolutely no snacks allowed, not even a tiny mint. This is to give his colon a much-needed spa day, stopping all that muscular contraction. Then we hit him with 5e antibiotics, the medical equivalent of calling in the National Guard to deal with the bacterial party. But here's the scary part, the final boss level of gut issues. A perforation. If that inflamed pouch bursts wide open, it's like a sewage leak directly into the clean, sterile organizing theater of the abdomen. That waste and bacteria cause peritonitis, a life-threatening infection of the entire abdominal lining. Surgeons would have to go in, mop up the mess, and maybe pull an Obi-Wan Kenobi on his colon. I will do what I must. A surgery would mean a much longer recovery and a permanent quality of life change. We were watching him like a hawk, checking for rebound tenderness, the classic sign that the infection is spreading through the peritoneum, shouting, "Game over, man, game over." Fortunately, we caught it early. The treatment stayed medical and he was discharged the next day. We transitioned him to a clear liquid diet, think broth and apple juice, to ensure the plumbing was working without any pressure on the healing pouch. The warning, however, was clear. This is not a one-and-done event. He needs a massive lifestyle change. More water and a fiber mandate, 25 to 35 grams a day. Fiber is the colon's swifter sweeper. It keeps the traffic moving smoothly and prevents those high-pressure zones from forming in the first place. If he sticks to the plan, his colon can go back to its stable, unbubbly self. So, the president got his warning. He'll probably be trading those fancy processed steaks for high-fiber lentils and brown rice. Diverticulosis is just a souvenir of years of straining, but diverticulitis is a dangerous fire. Remember this: low fiber creates the pressure, antibiotics are the primary fire extinguisher, and perforation is the invisible line between a few days in the hospital and a major surgical crisis. Fuel your body right, people, or your colon will stage its own hostile takeover. The short answer to the public's frantic question, "Is the president going to die?" is a clear and resounding no. Diverticulitis, while serious and potentially life-threatening if it progresses to a widespread infection like peritonitis, is highly manageable, especially when caught early as it was in this case. The president's quick presentation to the ER, the immediate implementation of NPO status, and the aggressive course of ANP antibiotics with the standard effective measures required to put out the fire. His body responded well to the medical management, avoiding the catastrophic perforation and subsequent surgery. Barring unforeseen complications, the immediate danger has passed, and his recovery is expected to be complete, provided he adheres strictly to the necessary long-term dietary and lifestyle changes.